Welcome to your Thursday edition of the Doom Report. Now, the news was kind of light today, but there are three big stories that you're not hearing much from the mainstream media. So let's talk about the three elephants in the room. And we'll start with the most obvious one, the cease. I'd call it the ceasefire, but since there's still quite a bit of firing going on, we're just going to call it the cease. So something they're not telling you about the whole cease is so far not one single ship has passed through that strait carrying any kind of energy supplies, such as oil, natural gas, or fertilizer. There were 4 ships that passed through yesterday, and they were all carrying dry goods. So don't expect your prices to start going down. Your gas prices got to stay up. Your food prices are going to get ridiculous as soon as... See, we're not feeling the effects of this yet. The stuff that we're buying and paying for now was still all through there before this whole thing started. So the things that are kind of come and bite us in the rear end hasn't even got here yet. And I'm still confident that this whole cease was orchestrated just so that it would help out the stock market, so that the powers that be could swipe a few more $1 billion out of the market. Of course, people like me and you may have made a few bucks, but these people are making billions. In one day they've made enough to cover families like ours for several generations. I mean, in the last 2 days, the market's up almost 3,000 points. And it's still going up, so it may reach 3,000 points by the time it closes today. That's insane. But I still say that's what this was all about. Now, the second elephant in the room, as you can see from the picture, there are 3 elephants in the room. I want to talk a little bit about these data centers. All the news that was going on prior to the whole Iran thing kind of got pushed away. Now, they are building a data center in my little county. And the reason for that is we have a pretty good sized river that flows through this county. And of course, they need a water source to help cool said data center. And I'm still guessing that that's probably the main reason why for the last 6 months, the electric bills, the energy bills in my area have been going absolutely through the roof. I'm not even going to tell you what my electric bill was because you probably wouldn't even believe me. It's insane. Now, all these data centers that they've proposed, that they want to build all over the country, are going to take twice as much electricity, energy, as we can currently produce in the entire country. Now, I know President Trump said that they're going to build their own electric plants and use that for the data centers. Well, I don't think they're going to be able to build enough. And here's my theory. You want to hear my theory? No, you don't? Well, too bad, I'm telling you anyway. So energy prices, electric prices, your electric bill all over the country has been skyrocketing. And here's my guess of why. They are not going to be able to produce enough energy to keep all these data centers running. So they're going to have to take ours. Now, they can't just come out and take it and say, you know what, you guys can't have electricity anymore. We need it for the data centers. People would lose their mind. And they know that. So I think what they're trying to do is just price everybody out of the market. And that way, when your electric gets shut off because you couldn't afford to pay the bill, well, then it's your fault, not theirs. It's not their fault for needing all that energy to run their espionage spy data centers. It's going to be your fault. And the people here in Zombie Land, where I live, because I tell you what, nobody around here knows anything that's going on. If they can't look out their front window and see it, it's not real. They're excited. They're all happy that they're building this big, huge, gigantic, I think it's 350,000 square feet data center in my little county. And they're all excited because it's going to create jobs. Okay, geniuses. It's a giant warehouse full of computers. and processors and things like that. It's estimated to create 12, let me say that again, 12 full-time jobs. And that's all security. And of course, you probably have to have some kind of clearance to even get that job. So they're probably, the 12 people that they hire for security probably aren't coming from my little area anyway. But these people don't understand that. They think it's, 350,000 square feet. It's going to create thousands of jobs. No, it's just a warehouse full of computers. It don't need anybody in there. But again, the normies don't pay any attention to anything, and that's probably what's going to be our ultimate downfall. So now we'll get on to the third elephant in the room, which is the great toilet paper apocalypse 2.0. And this is actually my favorite story. So I don't know if you guys have seen the video of the gentleman setting fire to the big toilet paper warehouse, but it's pretty classic. You need to go check that out. Now they're saying it could be a terrorist attack because he had a Middle Eastern name, but honestly, I don't think it's a terrorist attack. If you were going to attack someplace, why would it be a toilet paper warehouse? I'm sure you could find a better target than that. Plus, if you listen to what the guy said, he live streamed himself setting this place ablaze. If you listen to what he said, there was no motive other than what he said on the video. And actually, what he said on the video is how a lot of us are feeling. As he was setting the place ablaze, he was walking around saying, if you would have just paid us enough to live, this wouldn't have happened. If you'd have just forked out a few more dollars an hour so that we could afford to buy groceries and pay our rent, things like that, this would have never happened. And obviously, he knew he was going to get caught. He was live streaming the whole thing. I mean, he never had any delusions that he was going to get away with it or anything like that. And this place was huge. I don't remember how many square feet it was, but it was huge. Apparently, it housed 20% of the United States toilet paper. So, yeah, the normie's going to be out hoarding toilet paper again. That's why I'm calling it Toilet Paper Apocalypse 2.0. But the guy had a valid point. I think a lot of us feel that way. Prices are skyrocketing, not just food and electric, but housing. I don't even want to discuss the housing market in my little area. My goodness. It's like they're trying to turn this place into Beverly Hills or something. It is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, the wages aren't going up. Anybody get a raise lately? I mean, any kind of significant raise? They throw a quarter at you or something stupid like that. Big deal. But it sounds like this guy just had enough. Just decided, what? I'm going out in a blaze of glory. Not out, but you know what I mean. He's going to spend probably quite a few years in some place he probably didn't want to spend, but he was willing to do that to make a point. So guys, just keep prepping. I mean, these prices are just going to keep going up. 50% of the world's fertilizer flows through one of those nice little straits in the Middle East that are having trouble right now. So if you have a garden, you might want to be creating your own compost because it's going to be hard to get fertilizer, if not even impossible to get fertilizer. Not only that, but that's going to create food shortages. When the farmers can't fertilize their crops, guess what? There's no crops. So, if I were you guys, which I am one of you guys, I would stock up on as much non-perishable, shelf-stable food as I possibly can. Whether that be canned food, freeze-dried food, whatever you can get a hold of, whatever you have the financial ability to purchase. I get as much of it as I can. The same thing with water. Especially right here in my little area. We get our water from that nice big river that they're planning on sucking all the water out of to cool their data center. And of course, they'll put it back when they're done. It'll be nice and contaminated, and if you drink it, you'll probably not last long. So water's going to be an issue. power is going to be an issue. I still think they're trying to price us out of the market. So you're going to need things to be able to power the things that you need. Solar generators. Honestly, I'd go with solar generators because of the fuel. Because as we know, there may be fuel shortages. And you know what? You don't have to pay for the sunlight. At least not yet. I wouldn't be surprised if that day's coming. Also, you're going to need small little solar chargers for your devices. Things like that. Just keep doing the things. Because regardless of what the mainstream media tells you, things aren't getting better. And they're not going to get better anytime soon. If they ever get better again. Don't wait for SHTF, because it's not going to wait for you. Thanks for coming by. Push all the buttons. Help me out a little bit. I appreciate each and every one of you. This is OVP signing off. We'll see y'all on the next one.